All right, let's talk system design. When you're building something, probably one of the biggest, most fundamental choices you have to make is where does the data go? It sounds simple, but it affects literally everything. And today, we're digging into a classic showdown, storing your data as a blob versus using a file system.
I mean, really think about it. Every time you upload a photo or save a document to the cloud, there's this invisible choice being made for you. Does your file get chucked into a giant digital bin, or is it neatly filed away in a super organized cabinet? That's the heart of the decision we're going to unpack right now.
So first up in the ring, let's talk about the blob. And honestly, the best way to picture it is just like that, a giant empty box. You're not worried about what's inside the box or how it's organized. You just know you can put one big self-contained thing in there and it'll be safe.
Okay, to get just a little technical for a second, a blob stands for binary large object. And really, all that means is it's a chunk of data stored as one single thing. The system has no idea if it's your vacation video, a huge PDF, or a full system backup. To the database, it's all just one object, one big blob of data.
And that right there is why blobs are such a big deal. They are built for the heavy lifting. We're talking about those massive files that would just completely choke a normal database field. So their superpower, total flexibility, and being crazy efficient at grabbing and serving up those huge individual objects.
Okay, so that's the giant box. Now, let's look at its challenger, which, yeah, it couldn't be more different. If the blob is a box, the file system is like a perfectly organized master filing cabinet with a million little folders and labels.
The file system is absolutely obsessed with structure. And you already know exactly what this is, right? It's the files and folders on your computer. It's that whole tree of folders inside of folders that lets you organize everything and actually find it later.
And this is where you really see its personality come out. See, a file system isn't just storing the data, it's managing it. It keeps track of all that extra info, the metadata, like when the file was created. It handles permissions, who can read it, who can change it. And of course, it gives you that folder structure that just makes sense to us humans.
All right, so we've got our two contenders, the giant box versus the filing cabinet. Let's throw them in the ring and see how they stack up on three key metrics that system designers are absolutely obsessed with.
First round, performance. Who's faster? Well, for just raw speed, reading and writing files, the file system usually wins this one. It makes sense, right? It's talking directly to the storage. A blob has to go through that extra step, the whole database layer, which can add a little bit of lag.
Okay, but what happens when you need to grow? I mean, really grow, like your data just explodes. Scalability is everything. And here, again, the file system often has the edge. It's just built to be spread out. You can scatter your files across a whole bunch of different servers way more easily than trying to scale one giant database that's getting stuffed with more and more blobs. But hold on, this is where the fight gets really interesting. Let's talk about data integrity, making sure your data stays safe and correct. And here, the blob lands a huge punch. Why? Because it lives inside a database, it gets all these amazing superpowers for free, like transactional guarantees. That means your operations are all or nothing. With a file system, well, you're kind of on your own. Your app has to do all that heavy lifting to make sure things don't get corrupted.
So that's the theory. It's all interesting, but what does it actually mean in practice? Let's talk about where you actually see this stuff out in the wild and the apps and services you use every single day.
So here's the bottom line for blobs. They are the absolute best choice when you have big files that don't really change. Think about a movie on Netflix, right? You upload it once and then millions of people watch it. Or a medical scan like an MRI. It's stored as a permanent record. These are perfect use cases for a blob.
And the file system? Well, it's the champion of organization. It is the absolute backbone of, well, your entire operating system. It's what keeps your code organized in a Git project. And it's the engine serving up all the thousands of tiny little files, the HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript, that build the websites you visit every day. Okay, we've seen them go head-to-head, we know their strengths, their weaknesses, we know where they shine. So what's the verdict? Who's the winner in this big face-off? Is it the blob? Is it the file system?
And this is where I tell you, the whole question was kind of a setup, because it's not really blob versus file system. The best designers out there know that's the wrong way to think about it.
The real answer is, it's blob and file system. The smartest, most robust systems use both, playing to their individual strengths. For example, you might use a blob to store a user's profile picture because it's one file you just need to serve up quickly. But you'd use a file system for your application's log files, where you need to organize them by date and search through them easily. See?
It's all about using the right tool for the right job.
So the real takeaway here is a question for you to take to your next project. Don't just ask yourself, where should my data go? Ask, what is my data? Look at all the different pieces. Which parts are like giant single items that just need a box? And which parts need the structure of a good old-fashioned filing cabinet? Figuring that out, well, that's the heart of great system design.